Hello, my name is Nolwenn. I'm a photographer from Between Lenses and Roses. Today I'm going to show you how I edit my faces. So this is a headshot I took of Cindy. We had a reflector in her lap. We had a white wall facing her on the other side, so we had a really beautiful light bouncing back into her face, back into her eyes. So definitely the first thing, in order to edit a good photo is you need to take a good photo. I've already done some Lightroom adjustments in here. I've done profile correction, I've done a little bit of adjustments of the exposure and the temperatures, and I always shoot in RAW, and then I export it, I bring it into Lightroom to edit it, and then I export in JPEG to open in Photoshop. So we're just going to go straight to Photoshop. Okay, so here is Cindy. This is the before image. So the first thing that I'm going to want to do is create a new layer of the background, and the reason is because I like to go back between before and after to see the changes that I'm doing. So first thing I'm going to do is remove the under eye circles here. Every single person that I've ever shot before has under eye circles. That's kind of inevitable, but I always want to kind of remove them or soften them at least. So what I do is I go here into my toolbar and I grab my patch tool. And with that I just circle around. And I drag it here. So basically what this is doing is this is replacing this texture that was here with the texture that was in the cheek. So now you can see those circles are gone. So you want to make sure to put it in an area that has the type of texture you want. If you put it here in the hair, the texture is going to be that hair texture. And it might even, it caught a bit of the nose there, so put it like right there. There we go, cool. Now I don't want to completely get rid of the under eyes because I don't want it to look photoshopped, and like I said, everybody has that a little bit. So what I'm going to do is create a copy of the background. Then I'm going to bring the top layer's opacity down a little bit, and you'll see the under eye circles kind of come through. So this is at 0, and I'm just going to slowly bring that in. I think at about there, I do like it. So now I'm going to merge these two layers. Cool. And to toggle the tool that you're on and this little hand, you just hit the space bar. It brings up the hand. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the acne. Again, this is another thing. Everyone that I've ever shot before has acne. Inevitable. So, you just grab here, you hold down and go to your spot healing brush tool. That's the same place where the patch tool was. That's very easy. You just click around. And I'm on a MacBook Pro, so I'm going to show you keyboard shortcuts, but they might be a little bit different if you're on a PC. I'm not sure, but I'm sure they're similar. So to make your brush size larger or smaller through the keyboard, it's very easy to use the bracket. So the right bracket makes it larger, and the left bracket makes it smaller. So I'm just going through and removing all these pimples. One thing, I never remove moles or beauty marks because that's part of who they are. It's beautiful, and you definitely want to leave that on. So just make sure that you're removing acne and not any beauty marks. Alright, cool. So now we can kind of see the before and after. So you can see there's a little bit of a difference going on there. And also to toggle zoom, it's Command plus or Command minus. Okay, now I'm going to work on the eyes a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my dodge tool. I want to make sure it's set to highlights because I'm going to go in the whites of the eyes. The exposure is a little bit low, and that's good, otherwise it's going to be really way too white. Let me just kind of click through here. There we go, that's pretty nice. Then I'm going to grab my elliptical marquee tool, and I'm going to create a circle around her eyes. And then I hit shift, and then I can continue adding to that circle. So one thing I always like to ask my clients is make sure that I know exactly what eye color they have. because oftentimes in the camera with the lighting that you're at, the eye color isn't, you can't tell what the real eye color is. Cindy has green eyes, but here they look a little bit more hazel, so we really want to bring out that green. So I create these selections, then I go into Select, Modify, Feather. Okay, so I want to create a smooth border, so you'll see there's not going to be any harsh cutoffs there because of the feathering. And I'm going to go into Image, Adjustments, Color Balance. And here I can work with the midtones, with the highlights, and the shadows. We're going to play with all of them to really get those green eyes out. And then we want to always make sure to check Preserve Luminosity. So we're on the midtones. We would definitely want to bring out that green. We still want to leave a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red too. And then in the highlights, definitely want some green highlights in there. So we want the main color to be green. Maybe a tiny bit of red too. The shadows, I might actually go the other way, a little bit magenta, a little bit yellow. So maybe we need more green in the midtones. Let's see, you hit OK. And I think that looks pretty good. And as you can see, because of the feather, it doesn't create a hard edge around the eyes. So look at that before and after. It definitely pops more, but it still is her natural color. You know, and after we're done with everything, it's not going to look photoshopped or anything. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to smoothen her skin. So what I have is an action here. I have tons of actions. I definitely recommend looking into them. It makes your work a lot easier. There's so many cool different actions that you can do, cool effects and stuff with. This one is in Kubota Artistic Tools. This is called the Skin Powder Genie, and you'll see right now what it does. So it's very easy. You just click on your action, you hit play, and it kind of goes through these little things. Okay, and then it's set onto your brush. You want to make sure the hardness is set at 0%. So we want it to be nice and soft. Then I'm going to make it a little bit larger. I've hit Alt, and it toggles the eyedropper tool. Click on my skin color, and then I just paint. And so we're basically painting her face back in, and that kind of creates, we're able to make even skin tones, we're able to smoothen out the skin, can get rid of any hot spots. It's a really great action. And we're going to lower the opacity on this, so right now we're just kind of doing the basic paint over. So for example, if I thought this highlight right here in her nose is a little bit too strong, I could grab this color and I could kind of just paint over it so that erases it there. And I probably want to paint around her eyes too to smoothen out that eyeshadow. Okay, now I'm going to get my eraser. I want to also set at 0% hardness. I'm going to keep the opacity at 100%. We're just going to erase around the face, because I definitely painted outside the lines. So just kind of erase around all of that. Okay, now I'm going to bring down the opacity a little bit because I feel like it's maybe too strong. That's back at 0. I like to start at 0 when I'm messing with the opacity and then slowly bring it in. That way I can see how it's changing it. So we can see here it's starting to change. I think I might leave it at 35, maybe 36. Okay. And then we can toggle and see kind of what it's changing. So we can see, yeah, it's definitely smoothing out that skin and that skin tone. So now I'm going to merge these layers once I'm happy with how that looks. And now I'm going to start burning in some details. So we're going to go on the burn tool. We want it set to shadows because I'm going to be burning in shadows. And again, you don't want the exposure to be too high because otherwise it gets a little bit too crazy. So the first thing I want to do is I want to burn in these eyebrows. And then you want to burn in those eyes. You want to burn in those eyelashes, around those eyes. You want to burn under, around those eyelashes. And look at how that just makes that pop so much more in her eyes. And you can see the before and the after. It really makes that pop. Then I'm going to want to refine some of her features. So I'm going to want to maybe bring back in some of those cheekbones just a little bit. Maybe under the chin. Maybe on top of the hair, to kind of really make her face stand out. And if you want to get those cheekbones, sometimes maybe you need to go into the midtones. There we go. And if you think you overdid it, very easy, just turn back in the history. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. We got a nice looking face right now. Then the next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to go on her chest, remove some acne here because a lot of people have acne on their chest. So it's very easy. You go back to the spot healing brush tool and just click away there. Again, if you see any beauty marks, anything that's naturally there, you're not going to want to remove that. So we're just looking for those pimples, maybe bruises, things like that. Okay, then the next thing I want to do is look at this highlight. There's a very strong highlight here, and I'm not really liking that, so I'm going to want to burn that. So I hit the burn tool. This time I am going to put it on highlights, since I'm trying to get rid of this highlight. And I'm going to bring it just big. I just want to click on it once, because I just kind of want to subtly... So let's see, maybe a couple times. There we go. I think that's maybe I went one too far. I think right there looks pretty nice to me. Also, to toggle back and forth between, for example, the brush tool is B, and if you want to go back to the pointer tool, that's V on your keyboard. So there we go. I think that looks really great. So then the last thing that I always do, another action that I have, it's called Color Matte Soft. And this is from Film Solutions. They have, again, a lot of wonderful actions, a lot of actions that make your photos look like film. And they just really have beautiful colors. This is my favorite one, Color Matte Soft. So first let's toggle real quick because it's going to flatten the layer to create this Color Matte Soft. So let's see the before and after. So this is before and this is after. Look at that. There's a pretty big difference. But the after doesn't look super photoshopped either, So that's important to note. So I'm going to hit play on Color Matte Soft. It just does its thing. And look at that color. It's beautiful. So I always go in and edit it. There's always a grain because it's supposed to make it look like film, but I don't like the grain. So I'm just going to uncheck that. Then I'm going to look in here, and maybe it's a little bit too much, maybe a little bit too much matte, maybe a little bit too much curves, right? So maybe I want to bring down that matte finish a tiny bit. And maybe I want to bring down those curves just a tad. Let's see the whole effect. I think that looks wonderful. Look at that. Just a little boost in color and light. Alright, great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Command-Shift-E. That flattens my image. I'm going to want to delete the grain. Remember, I already saved it as a JPEG. I had exported the original one as a JPEG. So all I need to do is hit Command-S to save it. Quality maximum. And there we go. We are done with that. Well, thank you for watching. I'll be posting more videos.